I'm Kaylin. Welcome back to Fable Hill Farm. Today we are going to be talking baby goats. We have some that are very imminent on their arrival with my doe Wendy, who is about to kid. We've got a couple little ones here, Sunny's kids, that have had some unfortunate life experiences, some traumatic life experiences early on that I'm going to be talking about. So if you're interested in hearing about what you shouldn't do with raising Nigerian dwarf goats, and if you want to see and come along for some farm chores today, a lot of farm chores, then stay tuned because we're about to get started, and it's been a long day, folks. Might want to grab a cup of tea or coffee, or maybe a scotch on the rocks, whatever you prefer. Real quick, I'm going to show you guys the 2 batches of eggs I have in my incubators. Here are these hatching eggs that are in the incubators, and you can see lots of olive eggers, some spotted green eggs, some Welsimer crosses, it looks like, some Moran crosses, a couple Easter eggs in there. Excited to see what kind of chicks we get out of here. Probably going to be mostly roosters, but maybe not for once, because to my understanding, hens who control the sex of the chick that develops will actually lay more female eggs, or female sexed eggs, if there are too many roosters in a flock. I do have like 5 mature roosters and 3 bantam roosters, maybe 6 mature roosters overall. So maybe because of those factors, I might see an increase in my pullet to rooster ratio. We'll just have to wait and see, but wouldn't that be cool? I've got a couple of chores to do outside, and I'm just gonna take you guys along. I have some things to show you. I'll show you the baby goats, and we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on with that. Some sad happenings as far as Sunny's kids. Everybody's fine, but some lessons learned from kidding in the winter, my first time, and some things I wish I did differently. So come along and I will take you around the farm. My husband is ice fishing today with his dad, and he took the truck that normally I drive, my daily driver, the farm truck, and I had all these pine shavings from Tractor Supply in the back, and I didn't put them away yet, and a crate because I took 2 of my Muscovy hens to my friend Jessica over at Raising 'em Right Homestead because she's trying to get more duck eggs. Found out she really doesn't love chicken eggs and didn't need so many chickens and wanted more ducks. So I've got pine shavings in this crate, which actually needs to be cleaned, but it's going to be frozen and I just can't deal with it right now, so I'll wait till a warm day to scrape it out. I'm just going to set it in the pole barn, and then I'm going to put these flakes away. I forgot I wanted to check for, it's so slippery. I already lost one of my yak tracks, no clue where it is. Want to check for an egg out here. Seeing as I want to start that incubator, I did re-scrape all this actually yesterday, and then I rebedded all this with waste hay. Oh, yes. And take my glove off because it's damp. Don't want to do anything to jeopardize. Oh, this beautiful, beautiful speckled olive egg. You are my precious. You guys are coming on a real ranger ride, it would seem. It's very icy. Don't get me wrong, we use the Ranger. I use the Ranger every single day for farming, for chores, for carrying water in the winter, for carrying supplies, feed, whatever the case. But the Ranger is a recreational vehicle as well, and it's fun to drive. The ice is pretty slippery though, so I'm not a daredevil. My dad was a big enough daredevil for me. He got in a lot of accidents throughout his life. He was a real speed demon, dragon chaser as I like to call him. And yeah, I don't really like to go fast. I like to be safe. I have no need for speed though. My husband and my in-laws would probably tell you that I have a lead foot, supposedly. I don't really think that's true, but I've been told that. Just when I initially accelerate, that's all I mean. I did get this rebedded. If you haven't seen, just forgot about the chicken water too, and now I'm annoyed with myself because I should have brought water, and I'll have to get some. I have a bucket in the Ranger, but I couldn't get in the run for the first time ever this year today, and so I couldn't get to the rubber pan, and that's, the door's frozen. So I gave them this little dish, and I'm just gonna have to keep bringing them out water because I can't find another rubber pan. But I did rebed this with pine shavings and straw. I'm actually gonna come in here with a whole nother thing of pine shavings this next week, I think, and really get it bedded down again, and then put more straw. But I wanted to get these eggs. You can see, got our nest boxes all freshened up. Looks like there's only 2 eggs right now, but I'm already gonna, oh, beautiful. You can see carrying all this bedding and stuff. I made a mess. This is like pure ice. I wish I would have caught it on camera this morning. It made me think of Morgan with Goldshaw Farms and putting cameras on chickens. It would have been really hilarious to have a camera on a chicken this morning because they were all coming out here and they were just slipping on the ice as they came frantically running out, and it just really cracked me up because it looked like they were ice skating, but very badly. Like when you go to a public, you know, ice skating rink and you see people falling down, and that's exactly what it looked like. They got a bunch of scraps this morning. A few hens out here, and I put most of their feed in the coop for them to just scratch around, seeing it's so icy, and it was very windy this morning. Hi, DeVille. This thing out. Of course it's frozen too, so it's just like, ugh. Mara, get. Fun. Mara. Any joys of winter. The thing about chickens that people don't realize, like we used to give our chickens heated water bowls too. And usually I just give them hot water, but because our hot water is salted through our water softener in our garage, I try to also give them, you know, fresh water on days when it's not necessary to feed like really hot water to everybody. And today it is quite warm despite the ice, so they're fine. They're getting water through this. The door is not locked. They're getting water through their snow consumption as they scratch and peck. So I realize they really don't need as much constant water as people think they do, because all my chickens are fine. None of my chickens are dehydrated. You know, I make sure they have fresh water, and on really cold days I will give fresh water again. But like I said, it's really not such a concern. I'm gonna go start the heater in the pole barn first to give it a chance to warm up in there a little bit. And then I'm gonna go put these eggs in the garage and then bring Wendy into the pole barn and clip her udder and her, it's really her backside, her legs, just to help make it a bit more sanitary when she delivers. Because of the current climate, current weather, if I were to not clip her, then you got to think all of that birth fluid is going to just stick on her, and that would be, you know, not pleasant, let's be real. So I'm gonna trim her up, check her ligaments. She's so sick of me checking her, I don't blame her. Probably should have turned the heater on. I literally almost walked out without doing that. This is my father-in-law's heater that he let us borrow. It has a little thermostat on it. I'm just gonna turn it to like 55. It is 170,000 BTU. Jet engine, don't you think? My goodness. If I don't cut that clip out, my husband will be like, what were you doing? I could put it in low gear instead of in reverse. Oh, I see my yak track. It's over by Mara's Frisbee. Look. Pick that up. Put the Ranger back in the garage because I don't need it now. Just really wanted to get that stuff picked up in the driveway, so. One thing I did recently is I really brushed all of my blades clean really good. I wrapped them in waxed paper and oiled them with the wall blade oil and wrapped them up. And as you saw, numbered those blade cases. And those are just little cases from something with my husband's job that were, you know, basically throwaway that he asked me if I had use for them. And I thought those were perfect for keeping my blades organized. I got my yak track. I need to put that back on. I'm kind of frustrated with myself. I'm actually very frustrated that I didn't clip Wendy sooner. I don't know why it escaped my mind, but it just did. So I need to clip her up, but she is definitely, you know, in early labor and moving towards active labor. Like I said, it could be maybe tonight, maybe early morning or tomorrow afternoon, but I do think she's very close at this point. I don't want to ask her to get up on the stand. She is already very uncomfortable and, you know, she's heavily bred. I haven't been the last couple of days having her get up there to eat. She's just been standing and eating on the floor. Just had a brilliant idea. I'm gonna break down this metal stand right here so that the legs are folded up, and then I'll be able to actually just have her walk right onto it and still lock her head in. And that will make it way easier to hold her still. So that's what I'm gonna do. As you saw, I got her all clipped up here. I will do a real full, you know, udder clip on her once she's actually fresh and, you know, has a full udder. That makes it a lot easier. But now there's going to be less gunk to get all on the back here. And you can see she is filling up with milk. Of course, she's standing with her legs close together, but she's starting to make milk, and that's exciting. She is pretty puffy around here. Oh, I know, girl. You're all right. Let's get you a peanut. You want a peanut, Wendy? Oh, it's okay, girl. I don't love it. Just opened a fresh bag. Yeah, you're fine. You like peanuts, huh? So, left is lunch, right is Rugrats and goats. Left side is their room in here. And then right side is where you're always going to feel fetal movement, and that's where the babies are growing. So, actually, you guys might be able to see that. She's got some real fetal movement going on right now. This is a kid really moving around. Let's see if you guys see that? It's pretty amazing. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at those kids moving around in there. Wendy, you're fine, girl. You're okay, mama. That's pretty cool. Wow, you can really, I think you guys can see that. I hope you can. These got kids are moving. So, one way to tell, but take some experience and practice, hands-on experience to feel, but the ligaments, they have these two pencil-like ligaments around the tail head, and as they get closer and closer to delivery, those ligaments will soften and disappear. And so if I feel here around her tail head, and she does not like that, feeling for these ligaments. Frustrating because I think I don't feel them, and then I'm like, wait, is that them? And sometimes they can like seem like they disappear, but then they sort of come back, and some goats are really hard to find. I don't know. I'm not experienced, so don't listen to me on that one. But I feel like I can still feel them. So, all right, come on, Wendy. Give her another peanut. She's definitely getting closer. You know, time she's making milk. Now at least I can see her udder development. That's exciting. She's a sweet doe. She's a little wacky, but of course there's got to be a cat waiting. Oh, and the cat ran in there. I'll have to get her out in a minute. I need to reattach this with zip ties. I wanted to move it, so I took it down. Has their yeast in it, their nutritional yeast, and then the kelp, which they love the yeast. They go crazy for it. Right, Wendy? Come on. Good girl, huh? Come on, sweetheart. Mara, get. Mara. Mara, no. Go ahead, Wendy. Well, cool. I got her shades. It's not time for anything for you dang goats. I have the kidding pen mostly ready. I need to move in a heat lamp actually, so I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna move a heat lamp in. I have the electrokennel whelping pad in there. It's not plugged in, it hasn't been yet, but when I do think she's moving into a more active state of labor, I'll turn that on. I'll get the heat lamp going for her. Gotta get this cat out of here, but I want to clean up my clippers first. Really important to me that I want to keep those clippers nice and take good care of them, and all of my blades. I am going to be sending off my blades for sharpening, so that way they are ready for this show season. So I had sought out a couple of resources through some goat groups and got a couple of recommendations and priced out. They're not terribly expensive to get them done, like around, you know, I think $10, $12 a blade. So I am going to send my blades off and get them sharpened. I had asked my husband if he could sharpen them, and he doesn't think he could. He said he's going to look it up and just see how it's done, but I mean, he sharpens chainsaw blades all the time. So I thought maybe he'd be able to figure it out. He's a smart cookie, but we'll see what he decides. I want him done, and I certainly want him done the right way. So if Trent doesn't feel confident with that, then I'll just send him off. I, recognize that we can't all be good at everything, and maybe we don't have the right tools to do it well. So I'm just using this little brush and scraping off all of the little tiny hairs to get these nice and clean, not have debris stored in them. And then I just go through here and take that same little brush and clean out all the little hairs as best I can in here also. I know a lot of dairy goat people recommend the Andis or the Oster clippers. These are Wall. These are the KM2. They're like a professional pet series clippers, and I bought these because this is what my friend and mentor had, and she recommended this to me, and they did have very good reviews. They were, fairly expensive, but lots of other clippers are expensive as well, and you can get cheap ones. You can get very expensive ones. I would not say these are very expensive, but I'd say they weren't cheap. And yeah, you get what you pay for. So remember that. I like them, but I've never used any other clippers, so I can't really speak to whether or not these are better than their competitors, but I like them. And I have, as you saw, some different blades. I'd like to get a couple more blades this year, potentially. I like having the backups. I have two 10 blades, and then I have the 4F and the 40 blade, which is for a really close clip like on udders. So I'm gonna wrap it back up in this oiled wax paper I had it stored in, and put it away, put everything away. I'll leave it in here. I'll come back in and grab it. Seeing as I don't have the Ranger with me. Archie, I'm sorry, darling, but you are going to have to get out of here. I just bought these hoof trimmers because my other ones were so dull I couldn't cut hooves, and my husband tried sharpening them, and he said, I have no idea if I did that right or not. We'll find out. And I tried to cut hooves with them, and they were not sharp, like, at all. So I bought another pair of the same ones I had just because I was already getting an order from Caprine Supply, and I just bought them because they are good trimmers. They're good basic trimmers, and they're pretty cheap. So if you lose them, it's not, the end of the world, but it's good to have extras. So now I need to get my orange ones, my original ones, sharpened. And then I am going to be buying a much nicer pair from Premier One here pretty soon. So you got to come out, little kitty. This door has been sticking so bad. Jinx, don't even think about it because I'm not chasing cats out. Bye. The door has been sticking so bad, and Trent did monkey with it. Look at this. I mean, now I don't have either yak track on, and that one's off there, and who knows where the other one is. I'll have to get this cleaned up, but I am going to go get those pine shavings first because I don't want them chewing on plastic. That's not ideal. Here goes to eat plastic. So I'm going to actually bed like the whole barn down in that. Oh my gosh, this door. We're gonna have to put a new doorknob on it. Oh, what is wrong with it? No, cat, no. I said no. No cats allowed. No, no, no. No, no, no. No cats allowed. This is my kidding box with all of my items in it that are fine to like be out in the cold and stuff. Actually, Jinx, excuse me. It's got betadine spilled all over it by the cats, and I didn't screw it off yet. It's sterile. look pleasant. So I repacked this. I repacked this the other day and made sure everything was organized. I got all my goat coats for babies clean in here. Got like my binder with my, get out of there, kidding position photographs, the heat pad and stuff. I want to take this out actually because I forgot it has like vitamin gels in it and stuff, and that probably shouldn't just be out here in the cold. But all that stuff's in there, towels, and then this light is like so bright. Looks like I'm gonna have to switch my battery too, but I do have another one in my pocket. Look at this. Like, am I a crazy cat lady or what? I didn't try to be, but here I am with all these cats that are just purely obsessed with me, and it's really comical and very annoying also. They're all very sweet cats, good kitties. This little sign on here that my sister-in-law had given me a long time ago, and I just put it on the door yesterday because it makes me happy. It says, "I am safe in the universe and all life loves and supports me." Get off my shoulder, Daddy. Do you see? I mean, like, I cannot get this door open. How stupid is that? We're gonna have to do something quick. It's making me crazy. And just like that, my GoPro battery died. So good thing I was prepared with another one. I was about to say, I have really been trying to practice. I'm gonna shut this light off. I'm not gonna be in here. To practice mindfulness as far as my goals and intentions for both my farm and my life. And sometimes it's really good to have visual reminders of things. And for me, that's a very effective tool in managing my expectations versus reality, but also staying on task, staying focused on my goals, and just being mindful of the things I want to achieve in my life. I've got a lot of big goals for our farm and for my herd of Nigerian Dwarf goats, and just personal goals that I want to achieve this year. So when I look at that, for me, visual reminders work really well. I'm going to come in here, like I said. I am going to put down some pine shavings. The goats are probably going to knock this camera down because they're goats. We'll see. Looks like Sunny has unintentionally blocked, maybe intentionally, maybe she's taking a break. She's put her kids in timeout because she's blocked the creep door right here, which is kind of funny. Hey, Bunny. I'll talk about Bunny here in a minute, and Birdie, Sunny's kids, who, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below, where I came out in the morning and found my doe Sunny had kidded 10 days earlier than I anticipated, and she had kids that were pretty cold and still a little damp out in the barn. Look at these goats. I mean, you can't trust goats for anything. They're just so naughty. They're just naughty, mischievous creatures. Wendy's, looking good. She's over there chewing her cud and doing goat stuff, and that's her daughter Haggis there. This is little Miss Sidar, the doe I said. Looks like she might need to be disbudded again. Lily, who hopefully is pregnant. Not really sure. She does look like she's getting bigger, but not a ton. And honestly, at this point, I don't know that Haggis is pregnant. If she is, maybe a single. Let's see. Sai, I don't think is bred. The funny and not so funny thing about farming is that you might think I'm going out to do this thing or this, and this, but then you realize you need to do this, and then you need to do that, and then the water's frozen, so you got to deal with that. And then you put down pine shavings and go, oh, I need to get straw. And then you realize you don't have any more straw in this barn, so I need to go get the Ranger again, get straw out of the hay shed, put some straw in here. But I have had this pallet here, and we will be moving everything around come spring, but I want to get it cleaned out because I don't want to just have all this loose hay and straw on the ground. So I'm actually going to clean that out, and that's what I'm going to bed down on the top of Wendy's kidding stall here, because her and her daughter Haggis have been spending the last few nights in there. So there is some, you know, poop and wetness and everything from them being in there. So I'm just gonna throw all this loose stuff down there and rebed it so it is more dry. I mean, it's gonna get wet again because Bertha is very wet. Got like pine flake dust on the camera, I see. So I'm gonna clean that up real quick because I've actually been out here quite a while working, and I am A, hungry for lunch, and B, overwhelmed by the amount of laundry I have in my house right now, and I just need to go inside and get some work done. But I do want to finish up this video. I want to take you guys back and show you the babies real quick, talk for a minute about the situation with the ears on Sunny's kids, and then I'm going to go back inside. So boom, I'm cleaning up. Boom, I'm going to get straw. Boom, I'm going back to the barn to talk about Sunny's kids for a second, and then I'm gonna call it quits on this one, you guys. So I start thinking, wow, that looks way better. Let me go get the Ranger. And then I remember the lid is off of that feed bin over there because it's empty of duck feed and I need to mix more duck feed. So let's just call this the day that never ends. The chores that never end, that are supposed to be quick, that are not quick, because that's the life of being a farmer. I'm gonna have to go in and get some water. I need to hydrate. It's a lot of work. I'm out of a couple of ingredients, so it was just the corn, the non-GMO chick, I don't know, starter or grower. Let's see, a starter. So that's a, I don't know if I can read it. The tag's like half ripped off. I'm not sure what the protein content is. I think it's, I want to say it's 22%. Maybe I'll have to double check. So they've got the non-GMO chick starter, black oil sunflower seeds, cracked corn, and then the Kalmbach nutritional yeast. And this will work. It'll be fine for them. I feed this to my ducks and to my chickens as a scratch. And I have lots of other videos where I talk about what I feed, why I feed, some other things I've tried to feed in the past. You can check those out. I will link them down below. This will be fine. Next time I go to the feed store, I'll get more of the Milo that I like to feed, the red Milo, which is the little round red seed that's in a lot of like wild bird seed mixes. I took out the barley. I was putting barley in there for a while. I tried oats. I just noticed they weren't really eating that. So yeah, that'll be fine. And now I have duck feed. Need to go get some water, get the Ranger, grab some straw, clean up this garbage, and then go sign off with those sweet little kids. I'm seriously hungry and thirsty, and I just want to stop working. According to my GoPro, my memory card is full, so I'm switching to my iPhone. I just went inside for a little while, warmed up, Had a quick lunch and drank some water, switched some laundry. Now I'm going out to get straw. I have a bucket of warmer well water, warmer meaning it's been in the garage and not outside in the cold ground. Well water I want to give to the does because I noticed they were out of their smaller bucket, and I will probably hay the bucks a little bit more just because they really have been burning through the hay the last few days, and I want to make sure they have plenty to eat to stay warm, to keep their rumens going. And then I'm going to drop that straw off in the barn and I guess call it done. Oh, we got to go see the babies first, so no, we're not going to be done. We'll be done when the time has come. Putting a hurting on the hay. Richard heard me. He barked for a second. Definitely have put a hurting on the straw. I don't like seeing this. There's not much left. We will have to buy more next year. Haha, it is already next year. We'll have to buy more this year. Well, that was pretty good. I only broke one bale, so that'll just stay there and be like the buck and duck open shop. Took down a little bit of hay too, as you saw. This is our second cutting from last year. Now I gotta load the Ranger up. I'm just keeping this hay down for the bucks to have some of this more easily accessible. Ah. Pretty much done now. I just have to put out the straw in the baby pen, the creep area, and then I'm gonna snuggle some babies. I gave everyone some hay, even though they have hay outside. They have lots of hay, don't you all? It'll be a little bit less crazy around here. Haha, right, baby goats. Permanently crazy. Oh, this is Sidar. She's one of Ivy's doe kids, and she is such a lover, aren't you, sweetie pie? She loves her pets. She's really friendly. And this is proof that you can have friendly dam raised kids. Right, Missy? Oh, it's just so sweet. You are so sweet. She's a beautiful kid. Let's see if I can get her to stand here. And as you can probably tell here, if you know anything about showing goats, I have been practicing with these kids, setting them up since they were really like a day old, and getting them used to like being pinched down and all that, and just feeling relaxed while being handled in this way, and that I'm sure will make all the difference in showing them. And you can see though, she is a beautiful kid. She is a stunner. So long, really long rump, really level, beautiful kid. So here are Sunny's two kids up on this slide, and here's what I came to show you to close out this video. A very hard lesson learned in raising goats. Had my breeding dates wrong. I talked about that in a previous video. Again, I'll link that video down below. But because of the temperature when these kids were born because they were not fully dried off, because I had no idea that they were born out in the barn. They did suffer frostbite to the tips of their ears, which is the most likely place on a kid. The most susceptible to frostbite are ear tips and their feet, which thankfully they haven't had any issues with their feet. They have been losing the tips of their ears. So Bunny here, you can see she has lost the tips of both of her ears, and she's doing good, and she's still a sweet kid. I have a goat kid on my shoulder right now. They're healing, and it's been a rocky road, but it is what it is, and we can't go backwards, only forwards. And she's a super sweetie pie. She will be permanently disfigured. And her sister Birdie here did lose the tip to the left ear there, and I'm not sure about the right one, if it's going to come off or not. It was pure madness out there, as you clearly saw when those babies start jumping and climbing all over me and trying to eat every hair on my head. Hard to think straight and hard not to laugh. So I just wanted to say before I sign off on this video, I know it's been a really long one, at least I think it has. What I learned from my experience with Sunny's kids, and don't get me wrong, it makes me just heartsick. It really does. It breaks my heart that because of me and because of my mistake, my human error, these kids are not only disfigured permanently, but they've been through some real trauma. And it has really been not pleasant to treat the ears for them and also for myself. It's just really a sad thing. I would never want that to happen ever again. I'm so sorry that it did. I messed up. I mixed up my breeding dates, not my breeding date, my kidding dates, and I wrote, a 2 instead of a 1, and because of that, and having these kids come 10 days earlier than I expected them, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know there were going to be kids out in the barn that morning. I would have had Sunny in her kidding pen. I would have had a heat lamp. I would have been there to make sure those kids were dry, because they weren't. It is what it is. It happened. I can only go forward, like I said, and to learn from it and not backwards. And I hope to never make that mistake again. You live and you learn, and there's a lot of learning and the need to accept mistakes with humility in homesteading and farming, because mistakes are going to happen, and it's just part of it. Keeping livestock is not a science, and it's not always simple. Sometimes it's really challenging, sometimes it's heartbreaking, and luckily the kids are alive and healthy, and they have a little bit shorter ears than most. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in Nigerian dwarf goats, in raising competitive dairy goats, and holistic management of goats and other livestock, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and hit the notification bell so YouTube lets you know when I post new videos. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. What baby goats do? They eat your hair, and they climb on you, and they bite you, and they snuggle. And she's sweet.